Good day and welcome back to my channel. So we are about to put this together. We've got the struts together, we've got the plane together, and essentially what's next will be essentially the rigging in the final bit. So what I do want to do is sort of cover how I got here, right? So where we are, we now have all of the gross assembly of the plane done. The struts are in, all of the pieces are on, all of the little nibbly bits, you know, here, and wherever, they're all on, painted, ready to go. Did run into a couple of issues. I want to call out these issues here so that, you know, y'all are aware. I'm going to call this one out first because I ran into it. I had cut these struts off. So here on, right, we're talking about these. So C22, when you cut them off, they've got some nice chunks. The sprue gates aren't ideal. But when I did it, and I was holding it and trying to trim those struts down, it broke. So I ended up having to do a quick fix with super glue and kicker. Right, so that's what I had to do to fix it. And I have found that super glue and kicker have been sort of a key piece for this kit. I did the same thing for the engine and the exhaust pieces, and also for the rudder. Excuse me, sorry about that. The other thing I wanted to point out is because I did choose to go with the aftermarket engine, the exhausts didn't go on. I need to touch that up. Actually, it's demo or shine. Anyway, the exhaust did not go on the way they were meant to. So if you look at that one that I just was pointing at, see, there's supposed to be this other hose that comes out. So there was an assembly under here that a part of this will come out and hook up under there. And that didn't, it wasn't even close to fitting. So when I did some looking into this kit, I'm going to put a couple pictures up. Yeah, so the exhaust was sort of whatever. The exhaust is whatever they felt like doing, or it seemed to be. There were either pipes, just straight pipes coming out, or they had that particular muffler type assembly, or they had other different things. So I am going to go with the fact that this just doesn't have that, and we're going to roll with it. And again, that was the same decision I made when I chose to use this engine. Was the kit engine had that cowling on it, right? And this was, by the way, that's the piece right there where the other hose would hook up, or that other piece of the muffler would hook up right there. But this cowling didn't fit this engine. But then when I look at all the examples of the Night Witch's plane, many of them didn't have it either. Actually, I don't think I saw any that did, so I went without it. So that was a gotcha. That was something that I had to sort of make do with. Fiddly bit. There was a fiddly bit. I'm trying to remember what it was. The putting these on was fiddly. So again, I used super glue and kicker. Just because those went on and sort of just had to stick on. So that's what I went with. Putting on the bombs, again, super glue and kicker. It went on faster, and the hold is good. So there. So I'm now at the point where let's see, the screens went on with crystal clear, micro crystal clear, and yeah, I think that was the other real pain in the backside fiddly bit that I needed to, or I wanted to call out. So I will go ahead here and do show some of the things I did that got me to here, and then I'll be back. So in this spot, I'm actually starting with the oil-based work, and I prefer to use basically artist oils to do most of my work, and really all I need to do here is start creating the pin wash. And many folks have said that pin wash is probably the most powerful tool you have as a weathering option, right? It really brings out a lot of the details. Like you can see right there, the panels start to show. I prefer to mix my own, and I'll just use the artist oils in the thinner and do just like this. I'll put these dots on here and I'll go back later and then wipe them off. Now I do apologize, I'm still trying to learn how to video me while I work. So I'm working on it. And here I'm just darkening up panel lines, right? And I find that sometimes the dot or the oil will flow along the line, sometimes it won't, and depending on how the surface is. And in this case, to get things to work, I ended up painting on a little bit more heavily, and I kind of wanted a dusty, dirty look. So what is nice about this is when I go back and wipe these pieces off, that discoloration actually saves me from having to do like dot filtering and so forth. Highlighting all these rivet pieces there at the tail edge, highlighting the details around the bomb racks, and most of this stuff isn't even going to be seen, but I do it anyway. It's good practice, good experience. All right, and really all the oil weathering is that, and then I go back with cotton bud and do what you can kind of see, sort of. And this is where, again, I apologize. Doing stuff on camera is more than a little difficult for me because I'm still trying to work my setup. But I go through and I use a cotton bud and paper towel to wipe down after the oil has sort of dried a little bit, and it keeps the discoloration in the crevices, but it does clean up nicely. I'm still working on my oil technique. Here I'm going back now and I'm doing more the soot and the discoloration. So this is kind of like dot filtering, and specifically on that spot it's soot and whatever, and just changing the modulation of the colors of the canvas of the base of the kit, right? Basically making the plane look more interesting, make the colors, those big broad areas of color, look more interesting. It's a pretty straightforward technique. All right, so that's what got me here. All the weathering and all of that stuff that I have done up to this point, I'm now close to done. All the weathering, all of the little detail pieces, putting on the extra little nibbly bits, and then doing the streaking and so forth. So that's pretty well done, right? I've got it to where I want. I'm going to clean this up just a little bit more. I intentionally wanted this as sturdy. Yeah. So the last thing I'm going to do is put the upper wing on the lower wing. When I did put these on, I went ahead and mounted them and painted them. There's another spot I need to repaint. But that's it. Pay attention to your orientation for those, as it is clear-ish. It's not really. What that's indicating there is the sharp bit. So the flatter edge, right? So there's sort of a almost like a leading wing. The flatter edge points rear, and that will help you get your orientation correct. It should be obvious, but sometimes it's not. But there are ways to. That's how you tell. So with that said, I will go ahead and end this video here. The next video will be the rigging. I've never done rigging ever, so that'll be a sort of a conversation and experience in its own right. So we'll do that one by itself. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this was helpful, or at least entertaining, and until next time, happy modeling.